We are going to call the meeting to order now at, what time is it?
9:05.
9:05. And note that Russ, Carolyn, and Deanie are here, and Ed is on the phone. But the three of us make a
John
quorum.
on the phone also?
Is that right? I've never understood. Is it 3 or 4?
Well, we have 5 regular members,
So it's 3.
a simple majority is 3.
3.
So, and we're waiting for John, but I think we could go ahead.
Sure.
Because he's just waking up. Yeah. So the first order of business is to approve the special meeting minutes, the special meeting October 23rd.
So moved.
I second, but I wasn't here, so.
Oh, okay.
Am I allowed to do
And so
that?
I think we should probably.
Am I voting?
Yes, we have to make a motion.
I'll second. I can second it, but I can't really vote on it. Right?
Okay, so let's make a motion to appoint Ed as a voting member today, and I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. So back to the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay. Moved. Okay. Great. One piece of business done. Public comment? Public comment.
Morning.
Morning.
Have a seat.
I'd like to stand because I just feel like
Sure.
I'm not really good with this stuff, so I think it'll just be better if I can keep.
Okay?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However you're comfortable.
However you're most comfortable.
Just trying to be comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you've probably gathered, with having a young kid, I don't really have time to get involved with much other stuff presently. But I have made time over the last week because I feel like I need to be invested in this town, and I need to be a part of this town. It's important to feel that this is just as much my town as anybody else's, and that my family feels safe and welcome. I don't know if you guys, I mean, I know Deanie and John have been in communication about what happened at my house. I don't know if you guys know that.
I have no idea.
No.
Well, I'll just quickly say, because I only have a couple things to say, but we invited the Democratic Party to set up their tent for Halloween at our house. I was happy to do that, and it was nice. It was a lovely evening. We can't hand out candy, because we're out with our kid. I'd love to, but we're not there yet. So it's nice that somebody's there, regardless of it being a political committee or anything. It was a lovely evening out with my daughter was Superman, and she makes the point that she's Superman, not Supergirl. And anyway, the next day I received an email from Deanie about the signs in our yard, and I was, to be honest, Deanie, I was quite surprised to get that email from you. I mean, my signs have only been up for not even 24 hours, and I got a pretty serious email from you. It was a pretty quick response. And I'll just say I have quite a long stretch of property in this town, and I don't think I've done anything out of taste to show my support for the people that work in this building on the street that I live on. Okay?
Yeah.
There's plenty of real estate I could take up, but the signs are just in front of my house. And I not to digress, but I would ask anybody in this town to show the support for the people that are going to take care of our town. Trying to be as respectful as I could be, I responded to you that I would reach out to the committee and let them know, and I'm sure they'll deal with it. They took down the big sign that was up, and they left the smaller signs,
And that was appreciated.
I was happy with that.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, okay.
I think a lot of people were happy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we were.
Yeah. It's just your I wasn't bothered by the signs, you know. I wasn't privy to the tradition. Some people call it tradition, some people call it a gentleman's agreement, gentleman's handshake, which I can respect that, you know. I'm not sure I agree with it. I see flags down the street for 6 months out of the year, for an entire year from the time I've lived here, because it's been a presidential election, local election, that's an entire year. And I believe what I was told is that they're there to remind us to vote in the election. So,
Sorry, which flags are?
the American flags all down the street.
Oh, no.
I've
That's
never
the
heard
fire
that
department.
explanation,
Oh, really?
but
Oh.
someone may have told you, but I don't think that's...
No, I've never heard that as an
That's not the
explanation.
problem.
It was an initiative by the fire department, actually, right after I moved here in around 2012 or 13, I think they put them up. And they keep them up from Memorial Day until Veterans Day.
Well, I'm glad they're there, because they
It was
reminded
It
me.
has nothing to do with voting.
I'm not sure it was a message other than just
Patriotic display.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad they're there, because it
Yeah.
reminds me
Yeah.
of how we all got here and our liberty that we have. And this community has a history of that goes all the way back to the beginning of the country, right? And I think that's wonderful. But honestly, like I said, I was quite happy with the signs in my yard. No one of anything else. And if you hadn't emailed me, I would have left those signs there for the week of the election. It's a home game. We're not talking about the major leagues. This is farm team stuff, you know. And I think we should all have some good sportsmanship about it. And so anyway, 2 days later. What I didn't realize till afterwards, someone that's on the committee here came up to my back door in the morning after I served my family breakfast. I was having a coffee and didn't know her. I was trying to figure out what she was there for, and I caught on when she said, so I'll be happy to take the signs back to the Democratic Town Committee. So I assumed that this had something to do with your email, or they wanted them back. So I said, okay. it's not what I wanted. None of it's what I wanted. But I found out 10 minutes later, because the committee called me, that Tammy Hinckley threw the signs outside their door and tried to scurry off when they asked for an explanation. And that's when they called me to let me know I'd been tricked by someone on the committee to take my signs. And that is just, I think, just awful. That is just an awful thing to do to somebody. To make you feel like you have no voice, that you're unwelcome, and their opinion is the only one that matters. So I put the signs back. I asked them to bring the signs back. All the signs back. They're still just in front of our house. And that wasn't enough for Tammy. And
Equipment in for the election. We'll stay out of your way.
Okay.
I was shocked to find out she was an alternate on the board, but after that message, after her intimidation and bullying, she posted our house on Facebook and started a whole comment section on there.
Let's be clear, I don't think,
Yeah.
Deanie, I don't think that anything that's done here was at the directive of the Historic District Commission. In other words,
100%.
right, just so this was a
I understand.
personal, so I don't,
To do with the HDC.
I totally
Do you
understand.
understand that now?
Oh,
That-
I
mean, I
totally
know that
understand.
you
Just wanna make-
spoke to John, and hopefully he explained
I just,
absolutely.
This commission is and independent, and we have nothing to do with political signage, but I would say that it's about your wish to be part of the town that you probably didn't know the tradition of political signs, but once you did know about it, I mean, it comes to my mind, this is just random thoughts. Put the signs on McCurdy Road. They'd still be on your property. They'd still be supporting Democrats, but they wouldn't be in the historic district. It's just a suggestion.
Right.
And therefore you would be engaging with the traditions of the town and
Sure.
respecting them
Sure.
instead of,
I understand.
yeah, so.
I would like to understand, I mean, because I'm reading, Deanie, and please help me here. I'm reading what appears to be an enforcement situation with the signs, and I think it's important that we understand, have clarity on what the Historic District Commission's ability to enforce, or Eric Knapp's ability to enforce a sign that is a political sign on Lime Street.
Maybe we
Here's-
don't even know that. I
I
mean,
don't-
that would be something to take up with Eric.
Here's, I can shed some light on this.
Please.
Yeah, let me shed light on it, exactly what happened. Yeah.
But finish,
I would
please.
like to finish.
No,
Yeah, sorry.
The preface is
Right.
the whole lengthy part, right?
Right.
So I respect what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
To your point, that was my next spot. The email, Deanie. Yeah, I understand what Tammy did has nothing to do with the HDC. I think the point is that I don't think that would have happened if you didn't send me that email. And I wouldn't have asked anybody to take the signs down if you didn't send that email. I find your email is actually intimidating. I I came here to be publicly heard.
Yeah, no.
I just want to finish.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
have an agenda today,
yeah.
yeah.
Where it says tradition followed up by an enforcement process, I don't think you can put tradition and enforcement in the same context. You cannot enforce tradition. It's not tradition if it's something you have to enforce. And it's against the law.
I'd like to try and respond to why that was in there.
Let him finish, let him finish.
I'm quite privy to the fact that there is no regulation on signs in the town for a reason, for free speech. There's never been one. It's a gentleman's agreement, and I'm not trying to snub my nose at that tradition. I'm simply saying I'm a member of this town, and a gentleman's agreement involves the people on the street agreeing to it. If I don't even know about it, it's not really a gentleman's agreement, and it's not a gentleman's agreement if it feels like enforced in bullying. And that's what that last sentence says to me. Deanie, you have more power in this town than you let on. People have their homes are controlled by you. You have the say of what they can do and how they can feel.
Not just Deanie.
Of course, but
It's not Deanie, please.
This email was 3 people together scripting this thing.
I see.
I mean, this was not just me.
Jeannie
I just
signed it.
happened to be
The person.
the one who put it in the email.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
So you guys
I'd like
all know
to.
about the...
I didn't know about it.
I
but
did not.
No,
I did
but
not.
John and Eric Knapp did.
Well, John is in total agreement that there is no regulation on the sign, so it's...
Right. I know. Would you like?
I mean, if I could just interject, there are town zoning regulations that are Eric Knapp's concerns. So when I say there are no regulations, the HDC itself has relied on this tradition and has not applied its authority over signs in the past.
So, and the last thing I'm going to say is that free speech comes in many different ways. Some people like to talk about it on Facebook, the internet, chat groups on their phones. I don't do any of that. I am what you see right here. And I hope you respect that. I find it more respectful to talk to you face to face and to put for anybody to see that I show support for somebody, a candidate, the way I want to. I'm not hiding something in a Facebook post. I don't have Facebook. I don't do these things. It's a preference of free speech. This town is a postcard town. It's beautiful. The postcards are made, they Photoshop the people out, make the postcard, sell the postcard.
Who's the they?
Whoever makes a postcard of any...
Postcards are you talking about?
Any postcard of any beautiful town.
But not specifically an Oval. There's no such postcard that people have been photoshopped out of, I don't think.
That's okay. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
to make...
Just to correct that, just so we're stay fact-based, as it were.
Right. Well, fact-based, a picturesque town that you see a postcard of in general. You don't see the people in the town, you see the town, but the fact is that people live in that town. And the town is quite meaningless without the people that live in it. You can't enforce tradition, and it's not a gentleman's agreement if you're trying to intimidate and enforce a preference. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you came in. There's a lot to talk about.
I'm sure.
There's a lot of things to say. We don't have very much time today, but I think it's wonderful that you came in, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, very
It's
much,
not
very
easy.
sincerely. And we genuinely welcome you to the town. And this has
Absolutely.
nothing to do with your welcome in the town. There is a long-standing agreement. The fact that you didn't know about it and didn't participate in forming that tradition years ago is a separate issue, but that has nothing to do with your welcome. But I'm glad you know about it now, the tradition, and then you will decide whether you want to
Sure.
respect that tradition or not respect it.
And
I have one other comment. I too, as a resident in the town, value what I would call a person's agreement at this point,
Yes.
as opposed to a gentleman's agreement. At the same time, I think that it's an individual decision to participate in that. And so I very much appreciate your speaking your thoughts and concerns here to the committee. And like you were expressing, I think it's something that we should receive and consider. So,
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Indeed.
And I would just like to say that, and perhaps this was the tone of the email, but the reason for this email was because of complaints coming in to both Eric Knapp and to us about the signs, and nobody wanted to create a problem. So that's why it was suggested that the suggestion was actually that one of us go knock on your door, but that seems, so I said, well, I know him. I will write and just let him know about this. And I'm sorry that it came across as a threat. It wasn't meant to be a threat. It was meant to be just letting you know about this tradition and knowing that there had been some concerns about it, and it's your decision what you do or don't do. We all accept that. So that was the way we'd hoped, Eric Knapp, John, and myself had hoped it would be received, and I'm sorry that you received it as a threat. I really am. And so I just apologize for that, because you are not only, obviously, a valued townsperson, a neighbor of mine, and I'm just sorry that it has all come to this. And hopefully we can all, moving in forward, we can come to back to our friendly agreement, whatever that may be.
And to an understanding of both sides.
Yeah.
Your feelings and Deanie and others' feelings, and the people in the town who were hoping you wouldn't place the signs in the historic district. So everyone, there are multiple sides to this, and we hope that as a community we can share those multiple perspectives and, express them as you've done and as we've all done, and work them through and not have them in any way divide us. If we have different views, then we live with that.
Yeah, I had no idea it would be so divisive.
Yeah. That's one reason why there's been this agreement, just to sort of continue. I mean, you may know, or you may not know, but there was a time when, the New York Times came and wrote an article about the fact that Lyme was one of these towns that didn't have political signs anywhere, in any part of the town. And that was this effort to just create a friendly, non-divisive place. So now it's now it's just the historic district that holds on to this kind of antiquated, maybe whatever you want to call it, but tradition. But that's where we're bumping heads here, and I'm just sorry that you were wrapped up in the middle of it and made to feel threatened.
But to be clear, I think, Deanie, it's important, and I want to make sure I understand and it's expressed that it is a choice, and there's not a historic district commission regulation about political signs on Lime Street, correct?
There is not.
Okay, for the record, right.
Thank you. I would have felt like it was a choice if that one sentence that you said a moment ago, if the email ended with, "It's up to you, this is how the tradition's been, but it's up to you," instead of "there is an enforcement process." that we'd hope to avoid.
Right.
It doesn't really paint the picture of liberty and freedom and,
No, but there is a zoning office here too, so.
I think we're saying a couple of different things.
Well, and I want to be...
Can't both be true.
Well, we can speak to the historic, so my point was speaking to the historic district.
Yeah.
I think if there is a zoning issue, that should be addressed with Eric Knapp separately. But just to set the record straight.
It should be addressed with Eric now.
But
Right.
we all wanted to avoid any controversy, and so that's why Eric Knapp came to us,
I see.
to hope that we could just, on a friendly basis, settle this a week before an election, just resolve it without any letters coming from zoning,
Right.
or, I mean, just sort of, but it just, that
It
is
can-
not the way it happened and came across, and
Right.
Right.
so,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you, guys. I've taken up way too much of your time.
Thank you for coming.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
It's
thank
very important.
Thank
Very
you very
important.
much.
Yeah.
It's great to have these conversations.
Yeah.
As much as it's not my comfort zone, I thought it was important.
Good, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Me too.
Please come in anytime.
I'm in a way thankful to have this opportunity to become more involved.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you. All right, Secretary's report, as you can see, Martha is not here, so I think that we'll pass that, and she can make that report in December. The co-chair's report. Two things. One is, as you remember, we sent a note to the Selectman's office and to other organizations regarding the complaint about speeding on Lime Street. And while we haven't received a reply from the recipients of the letter, I have noticed that there has been a policeman parked on several occasions up by the Congregational Church, and I think my observation is that they have made some effort to show that speeding is being monitored. So that, and the second part of my report was to just review a little bit about what happened with the signs, but I think we've just heard that. So I think, unless you have anything to add, John, we can move on from that.
Yeah, I mean, all I would say is are there people in the audience now?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Yes, there are.
Okay. Well,
Katie
as
Huffman is here.
I was going to say, as people know, as people on the commission know, we have an ongoing discussion about revising our sign policy. So the only thing I would add to the Charlie's comments and the discussion surrounding them is that this is an issue that we will be taking up. This meaning the question of political signs. I just want it to be on the record that this is a matter that the commission will be discussing.
Good. Katie Huffman. We have, here it is. Hello. Welcome.
So I wanted to start by apologizing for not putting this through the HCC originally. We've
Seen it.
Yeah.
Institutional memory and reality don't match. I should have measured, and I did not.
Fine.
So anyway, I just wanted to, I've been here many times.
I know.
I would have done it had I measured. So anyhow, here I am, and I'm happy to answer, obviously, any questions. to go from here.
I'm sorry, I don't know who's speaking. Could
Sorry, Ed, it's Katie Huffman of the library.
Okay, thank you.
And she's just here to present the COFA for the statue.
I understand.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Katie, could you just walk through the point of the COFA from your perspective?
Sure. So, lost sense of time. In September, we installed a statue in honor of the library's 125th anniversary. And shortly after installing that, I received an email from the HTC stating that it was in the jurisdiction and that an application had not been submitted and to please do so. So I have subsequently submitted an application requesting approval to allow the statue that's already been installed.
And it's in unfortunately, I haven't seen the location of it.
Do you want to
Yeah, so if you were to enter the library's main driveway off of Library Lane, it is right before the main entrance along the left of the drive.
Right.
So
Understood.
I've got pictures here to help.
Sort of behind the garden to the side.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the driveway entrance, and you can't really see it. It's right here, right on this side of the.
Right. Oh, I see.
It's right here.
Yep. So, Deanie, John, what's the history of? Update me on the history of art in front facades or front areas of buildings on Lime Street. What's the kind of the precedent or?
There's a sculpture policy.
Right.
In the handbook.
Because this is the first time this has come up since I've been involved in the commission.
John, you can probably speak to this, but this is really in the area of a structure, correct?
Yes. In essence, and here's another policy as we go through the handbook on different fronts, we may want to discuss the sculpture policy. But the gist of it is that it recognizes that, should we say, art museums may have sculptures, but sculptures at other institutions or private residences that are essentially fixed. In other words, not a light little garden figurine that you could pick up, but stuff that's really affixed to the ground are sculptures. They're within the scope of our statutory mandate to consider via the C of A mechanism.
Are there any size, height requirements or limitations, or is it?
I don't think there are. Although I'm operating from memory, it's more a question of what you would consider something that is fixed to the ground.
Right.
Are the sculptures at Studio 80? Do they have COAs?
That was a long time ago.
I don't know the answer, Ed.
Yeah, and I don't have the answer to that either.
So,
But that was addressed at the same time that they were addressing sculptures in front of the Cooley Gallery, and at the time that Bee and Thistle had a sculpture, and Gilborough at the 80s had a sculpture, and so that sort of prompted a conversation around sculptures at art galleries, and then how does Bee and Thistle fall in, and so. But I don't know whether there's a COFA on file for that.
So is it fair to say then that the commission, the active commission here, reviews the sculpture such that it's in keeping with the historic character of the district, but there are no other size or things that need to be considered beyond that? In other words, we take each sculpture for art institutions or other institutions on Lime Street and review it based on whether or not it's in keeping with the historic character of the district. I just want to make sure there's no other aspect than that we should be evaluating right now.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
So do you have any questions, John or Ed? Further questions?
No.
No.
Okay. So I would like to move that we accept the COFA as presented for the sculpture that has been placed on the east side of the front lawn of the library.
My sense of direction.
Take out our compass.
It's at the southeast corner of the library building.
Southeast
I knew it
corner.
was east. Southeast.
Corner of. I want to get this down. I have to be Martha. Building. Any restrictions, Deanie, other than, I mean, it's described in the height and width and all that's described.
Well, a
there.
restriction, it might be that if the library ever decides to move it to another location, that they return to the HDC.
Well, it's basically approved for this particular location,
Right.
is what you're saying,
Right.
right? I'm going to say, as described in COFA is the location specified there?
Well, the location is specified in handwriting on the COFA. It's been added to the typed description of the
190 feet east of Lime Street sidewalk. 190 feet east of the Lime Street sidewalk. 100 feet from the edge of Library Lane at the
There you
southeast
go.
corner of the library.
Yeah, so it's defined. So it's approved for that. If that changes, then
So there's not a condition.
you don't have to add a
Right.
condition. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay.
So,
All right.
Dina, you moved to accept this. Is there been a second?
Right.
I'll
Russ,
second
Russ,
it.
No, somebody else.
Okay.
who second? Is that
Ed?
Ed?
Ed.
Ed
Yes.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Right.
Good.
Thank you very
Application
much.
approved. Thank you.
Again,
Thank you
my
for coming in.
apologies. Yes.
And just a reminder that that and walkways are also considered structures.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I said,
Going forward.
where I was told the point is wildly inaccurate. So I've alerted the
It's 300 feet.
right. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Where I had been told was not.
Well,
nowhere close to 300 feet. So now I know. Thank you.
good, thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we have? Okay. Good morning. Welcome. Would you like to come sit up here?
Sure. Is that how we do it?
Yeah.
This, for John and Ed, this is Kara and Brett Young of 90 Lime Street, here to discuss their COFA for the restoration of their windows. So I'd like to thank you for this very thorough application.
Oh,
It's always appreciated by us. And would you like to talk just a little bit about what you're doing?
sure. You want me to do it?
And we have two commissioners on.
Oh, okay, great. Hi.
They won't, do they have the images in the,
John and Ed, were you able to see the images on the emails?
I have
Yes.
the application. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, do you have the pictures, Ed? The photos?
No, I don't.
Martha sent those to you on November 1st.
Okay, I'll look for them. Go ahead.
So this is Kara Young. Basically, we're working with a restoration company who I know has also done work at 100 Lime Street on their windows at the Audubon Society. It's called Window Restorations of Connecticut. And when they do the restoration, and this is obviously a very basic description, but they take out the window itself, and then they
They remove the single panes, they put in a double pane in the existing window, remove all the lead paint and their systems are hazardous systems, and then they prime them and put them back in as the original window.
And then they also replace the weights with a more user-friendly type.
Counterweight.
Yeah, but it's like a spring or something
spring,
instead of using the weight. So we'll be able to open and close the windows, which has been, kind of a safety issue in my mind because some of the windows do not open if there was an emergency. So, we have obviously from a perspective of energy efficiency, a huge problem with all the heat just going out the window. And then with the peeling paint, that's certainly something. Our kids are older, we're not worried about a lead paint poisoning thing, but if we can sort of alleviate that as part of the work, that would also be a good thing.
just so I understand, because this is fascinating to me, that I follow your lead here.
I wish I'd known about it.
I know. I've got, that looks like 20 of my windows. So just so I fully understand, they're going to keep the existing window frame in mullions?
Exactly.
And put new glass in?
Yes.
Wow, that's
And that's amazing.
That's fantastic.
It's amazing. So right now, each of those is 8 panes, in the window.
Sure.
So this will be some sort of way that they're able to put in one sheet of double pane glass.
Oh, I see. So somehow they're going to
cut it
slice it
internally somehow.
And they're going to reapply. So this is going to be a single pane of glass.
Yes.
And then they're going to reapply the wood mullion.
Yes.
Yes.
With the original wood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
As much as they can.
Right, as much as they
What's
can.
wonderful is you're able to keep the size of the windows and not...
Right.
So
not change them for replacement.
besides my separate interest in it, from a historic district commission point of view, the layout of the windows, the number of panes, individual panes, from the street will appear exactly as it is today.
Exactly, yes.
Right.
I mean, the only thing is right now on the outside street facing the street, the storm windows are on year-round. And so
Those
that's
will
what
come
kind of
off.
gives it the black border. We won't need storm windows anymore.
Right.
So we do plan to paint the exterior windows so it will resemble that same look that it has now with the storm windows on it.
Good, well, paint is not our,
Okay,
Paint's
it's
not
our-
thing.
not our-
Colors.
Okay,
not
Colors.
better.
not under
Well,
our review.
The color of the paint. is not
Okay.
our review. Whether you finish it or not finish it is, but we don't
Sure.
speak to color, right?
Well, we do plan to finish it, but I think with the timing, it's going to be hard to do exterior paint like right when it's finished.
Right.
So we may have to wait until like the weather warms up.
But it's a white primer. You won't be able to tell the
Yeah.
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 Okay. So
Right. So one other kind of, I think, important question about appearance is the glass. It's not going to have some change of appearance, such as tinting or a green effect to it. In other words, they're putting a glass back in that's fairly standard that will because you're adding thermal there with the double paint, which is great, by the way, but there's not layers that are going to be added in there that would change the appearance of the glass from the exterior.
okay, so it says a note about your new Energy Star rated low E double pane glass. The low E coating on your glass almost triples your R, whatever. Okay, low E is a tin oxide coating factory applied to the inside of the outside piece of glass during direct sunlight, sometimes for a brief period when the sun is at a certain angle. The low E coating may be slightly visible. This is normal and actually disappears as soon as the sun angle changes.
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Very small
Okay,
detail, but interesting.
so I guess this must have come up in the past because they do include it in their
Yeah, it's
paperwork.
right. And is it the entire house, or are you just doing the front facade, the entire house? Yeah.
And you're not changing any of the windows, they're all...
The format is staying the same.
I think that's the only way to go.
I don't know if you want any more discussion, but I would like to make a motion to approve the C of A.
I'll second that.
I would like there to be conditions attached that essentially describe what it was presented orally. The written C of A is pretty bare bones. It just says window restoration of all windows by the company. The interior and exterior paint will remain the same.
Okay.
Although there will no longer be storm windows, the new paint will give the same appearance. I think for the record, just so that there's a public accounting, and also for our own records, that we should include conditions that specify, and you can all help, but specify that these are double hung, that the wooden mullions will remain but be reattached, etc.
Yeah, so I'm saying here, and I'll add to the motion, that the original wood frames will be refurbished. The original wood frames and mullions. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are the wood frames the storm window panes? Frames?
No, the wood, the window, yeah, the original wood window, frames and mullions will be refurbished, and incorporate, double pane glazing. Okay.
Or single, will be attached on a single piece or double hung, but indicate that it's a single piece of glass.
Single piece of glass, right.
Interesting for our record keeping.
Yeah.
It's a great project.
Piece of glass.
I'm surprised more people don't know about it. But and we've been in the queue for 18 months.
It's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Really great.
I would have done.
Yeah, me too.
I guess he does all the Yale stuff. He's top notch, but he just doesn't have a crew to
Yeah.
do
I
such
think
work.
it's very
For old windows in the historic house.
Yeah.
No, this is good for us to know about.
Yeah.
So because we occasionally get people coming in saying, I want to do something with my windows, but they haven't. They're just seeking some ideas.
Single piece of glass. And then I have the storm windows will be removed. I'm including that. And the shutters will be retained. That's separate, but all that's, yeah. And I have noted also the counterweights will be refurbished.
Well, that's an interior thing, Russ. That's
Yeah.
an interior thing.
Okay, yeah. Right. That's interior, right. Okay. I think I have to look on the notes.
Are you going to type those up?
Martha? I will.
You have to get the Otter app. It's like an AI voice thing that transcribes. So if I have a meeting, then I just put that on, and then you press a button, and then you have your notes.
That's right.
Transcribes the meeting as you're in it. It makes the notes.
It's called Otter, OTTER. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Wow. You mean, so instead of recording, it writes it out?
Yeah. It records it, and then it maybe
It'll even
10 seconds later. It's not perfect, but
it'll assign tasks too.
Yeah.
Which Dina just did to me. Okay.
I can try. All right. So are we? You've made a motion.
Right. I'll try to restate it here. That at 95 Lime Street, the restoration of all windows that will incorporate the original wood window frames and mullions that will be refurbished and incorporate a double glazing as single panes for double hung windows. I'm going to also add that the number of lights remain the same. Is that the right term? Number of lights.
Panes?
Number
Lights?
of
Well, they're different. It's one pane, right?
well, what I'm trying to get at, the number of light. I think it's lights.
Window. Right.
Either panes. I'll look it up. Will remain the same, and that the storm windows will be removed.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Well, wait a sec. Just one other question. Do we have a brochure or anything from the company that has pictures of this that should be included with the application?
We do. We have quite extensive paperwork from the company. Yeah.
Right.
Which is greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Lots of information, and even
Is there a detail? I just noticed a detail.
A United States Environmental Protection Agency certification.
Let me see the details.
Yep.
That's interesting. This will... See, yes. There's actually a great detail here, John, where it shows how they call it the mutton, how they cut it, and this is actually an interesting point. Oh no, it is the same, right? What they actually do, so the original exterior mullion is kind of rectangular, and then you add the glazing. They change that slightly to have the same appearance, but instead of glazing, since it's a single pane of glass, you don't need the glazing compound at the mullion, right? So what happens is the mullion is actually a new fabricated piece of wood that replicates the same shape as the original mullion with the glazing applied.
Okay, so it's not the same wood that's reapplied. It's a different wood.
It is, yeah, it is.
And is it wood or is it some synthetic material?
It says wood here.
It's wood.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the interior, they use the existing mullion. So what they do is, since it's all right. So this is important. It's what we call divided light. The original window, right? This will not be divided light. It's one piece of glass, but what they do is they cut off on the original mullion. They cut off the piece that goes to the exterior, and that the glazing is then applied to, and they simply use the interior original wood piece, and then they fabricate a new exterior mullion piece that gets applied to the single pane large glass. So in effect, the appearance is the same.
Okay.
This detail is really great to have here. And it's important that it's the same scale, right? And it would be based on this. Have you guys actually seen a mock-up or seen examples?
Not on our house, but on their website they have many before and after photos.
And they used it at the Audubon?
Yeah, the big window on the second floor, that was restored by this company.
Okay.
I'm still a fan.
Yeah, I am too. It's great.
All right.
Any further questions?
I have a question. Do they cite acceptance in other historic districts?
Well, we do know. I can pull up the website. Hold on. Pulling up. Oh, I think it's on the first page. Sorry. Okay. Here's a list of all of the other projects that they've been involved with.
There's a full list, Ed, here of other projects. Monroe Congregational Church, Wesleyan University, lots at Wesleyan, Newtown Town Hall, Yale, Katharine Hepburn Arts Center, Asylum Street, Hartford, Old Lyme Memorial Town Hall.
There you go.
East
That's helpful.
70th Street in New York, oldest surviving house on the Upper East Side, Historic District, required landmarks approval. So they did that.
Okay, sounds like the question's been answered.
I think so. I think that's an impressive list of projects where people have made an effort.
Yeah, and I'm sending, Ed, I'm sending right now that detail that you guys should have it in your inbox if you're at a computer. Detail.
Yeah, I've got it, Russ. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can see how they're addressing the mullion. Ed, I just sent yours, Ed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got it yet.
Yeah. Did you get it? Did you receive it, Ed?
I did. I'm just looking at it now. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Photo of this. Where's the company?
Here, I got it.
Yeah,
You can
but
have it.
Their whole point is nothing fits better in that wood than the original wood,
Like
and nothing works better than
Yeah.
the original.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's the name of the company.
that's what I'm interested in.
Oh, yeah. It's like the.
Do we have this as part of our?
I don't know that we have.
Yeah, maybe that
That'd be
didn't make it
good.
in. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good to
Yeah,
have.
for sure.
Yeah. Is it this right here?
Can you keep this?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Love color pictures.
All right.
Great. Any further questions? Ed?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All approved?
Yeah. Great.
When
Thank you.
are you guys doing it? Winter's coming.
Well, it always,
Yeah.
well, good thing we have the storms, because they kind of seal the storms.
They take them out like a few at a time and then come back, put them back in, and then take a few more. So, but yeah, I don't
It's not going to be
know.
all like plywood.
It's they said early fall, and I'm like, it's November. Are you still coming? And so I think
Takes a
maybe
very
next
long
month.
time.
I don't know.
And my whole
Do we
point
need
was,
to alert you when the work starts, or? Okay.
I'm like, this is the only company that does it, you know? It's like, you got to get it done.
Really great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
really
a
great.
great way to do it.
I wish
And,
I'd known or had that option when I did.
Yeah.
When I had my house down here.
I've restored maybe 15% or 20% of my windows, and it is a job.
With a carpenter, or?
No, just myself.
Oh,
Oh, my
okay, wow.
goodness.
But not adding I love the fact that you can add the improved glazing
Right.
for energy efficiency.
Exactly.
And we all need to become more energy efficient, and the older homes are really challenging, and the windows are a big part of that. So,
I was able to use replacement windows,
right.
but, I mean, they are probably a half an inch smaller. I mean, it would have looked better to have had
Right.
the exact original ones.
That's
They were
right.
covered in asbestos glazing and all
Right.
that stuff, so it had to be, but this is a wonderful solution.
Well, yeah, because the original wood frames, the framing, the mullions are beautiful on my house and yours too. And so to lose that, I've said, I'm not going to. That's why I have.
That's the integrity of.
It's part of it. So the fact that you can pretty much maintain that and get the energy efficiency, that's a brilliant thing. So
We'll send them down your way.
I know. I mean,
maybe not.
I'm next in the queue.
No, okay.
Right.
Thank you
Great,
so
guys.
much.
Nice to see
Thank you.
you.
Good
Nice
to see you.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah, new to me neighbor.
Okay, so we'll just move forward, right? Nothing
Yep.
more? Okay,
You'll receive a signed
I see.
copy of this in the mail, but
We're good to go. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
all right, the last matter of business is new and ongoing business. The National Votes for Women trail marker slated to be removed temporarily until a better place has been found. The HDC approval on town documents, that's something I need to nail down a little bit more than I already have. The sign policy effort is ongoing, and we will send out some dates when we all might be able to meet again to complete that process. We're looking forward to working on the lighting policy after the first of the year, and I think that's all I have, unless John has anything to add.
Well, I wanted to note, I apologize, I was 3 or 4 minutes late signing in, so it might have been mentioned at the outset, but we have received a like-for-like form from LACFA for their driveway repaving.
Yep, we have.
It was the same material and curbing that they had before it was redone.
Yep. Great, thank you. I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Here it is.
And
So there's the like-for-like.
I think that's all I wanted. Oh, did you, Deanie, approve the special meeting minutes?
Yes, we did.
Okay. That's all I had.
Okay. Well, unless there's anything else, we'll adjourn the meeting at 10:12.
I move to adjourn.
Okay. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you, Ed and John,
Thank
for
you.
signing on.
Enjoy your wherever you are, John and Ed.
We're flying back.
Take care.
We're flying back today, so.
Okay. All right. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
So long.